Doing. Are we starting? So do I need to do my clap?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, Danny's clap.
And Mitchell's clap.
Mitchell's
And
got the clap.
a second one just because he always asks for a fucking second one. I don't know why. Hey everybody, welcome to Fake Philosophers. I'm your host Mitch, and with me is my co-host Danny. Hi Danny.
Hi world. Hi Mitch.
Hi. Like them more than you like me, that's fine. Before we started recording, well, I was recording, but before we did the clap, before we all got the clap, Danny and I were talking about these weird injuries we've been getting because I think we're just old.
Yeah.
But it spurred a question. At what age did you realize when you hurt like a knee or a back, always a back, what age did you realize that okay, no, the only way I'm going to fix this is if I just sit and rest and don't do anything?
Mm-hmm. I think because it wasn't like sitting and resting will fix it. It was like just doing something mundane where my body just was like, you can't do this anymore.
So you just,
and I think
the answer was stopping to do stuff.
Yeah. I was just like, okay. I think I fucked up my back once just rolling out of bed. And I was like, oh no, this is how it begins.
Yeah. A few years ago, my back was all messed up. I don't know why. I didn't do anything in particular. Just when I bent over, my lower back was killing. And I went through about 2 weeks of studying. I Googled yoga stretches and tried the stretches every day. It's okay, if I eat this and I stretch this way, this stretch is targeted for the lower back, and I get the hot pad out and I do this and do this. And I was actively trying to heal it. And then I'm like, Dad, my back's all fucked up. My dad's like, yeah, I mean, just, lay around for a few days. And so I was like, oh, so I just laid down for a weekend, a good long weekend, didn't do anything. And then that helped it. It blew my mind. But
yeah, I was talking to my brother about it this last weekend, and he's like, yeah, man, what I do is I just get a lacrosse ball, and I put the lacrosse ball between me and a wall, and I just kind of
work the knots out. Yeah,
work the knots out. And I'm like, fuck.
I guess because that's what I was trying. I was actively trying to heal it, and it just wasn't working. And then it reminded me, as it does, of the Taoist proverb, whatever you call it. It's the you might know it better than I do. When a river is or a pond is murky and sandy, the only way to get it clear is to let it sit and let all the silt kind of rest to the bottom, or however the proverb goes. I could Google it, but I don't want to. You're not going to actively try to clear the water. You just kind of have to sit and let it go. And that's, how the body works. So, if you have a major illness, don't go to the doctor. Just let it heal itself. Do it do it the pioneer way.
Lose your arm in a horrible car accident? Just sit down. Let it heal itself.
Yeah. Get a lighter, cauterize it.
You'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
We're not doctors. Don't listen to us, please.
Okay. I mean, or listen to us or whatever. If you're listening to us and you follow our advice, you deserve every bit of consequence that comes to you. So, please listen to us.
We're not real philosophers. We're fake philosophers.
Thank you. What is a real philosopher? I'd say a fake philosopher is one who gets paid to do it. I
mean, no, that would make him smart. Because one, good luck finding anything that'll pay you to be a philosopher. That's why, I hate when people get philosophy degrees. It's what do you plan on doing with that?
Yeah. Besides teach, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, the only thing you can do with a philosophy degree is teach philosophy.
Or write, I guess you could write.
You could write, but again, nobody's really going to pay you until you produce something already that's worth paying you for.
What career would be improved upon with a philosophy degree? Maybe not the only thing, but if you majored in philosophy, what degree do you think? What job or what career would you have that would help? My first thing goes to clergy, like being a pastor or something.
Yeah, maybe, but like, do they get paid?
Oh yeah. There's several podcasts about how clergy get overpaid.
Oh wow. Okay. I would say also comedians, stand-up comedians.
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah.
Because what was it? History of the World Part 1? He's a stand-up philosopher.
That's right. It was Part 2. Yeah. It was Part 1. Yeah. The movie.
Bullshit artist.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. We'll table that. We'll get back to it. What careers? Hey, leave a comment. What careers would benefit from having a philosophy degree? Because I actually did have a topic I was going into tonight. I was going to bring up with you because it was appropriate, I thought, since you are an educator. Yep. A couple weeks back, I had to do a factory manufacturer training thing. I had to drive up to Philadelphia and take it was only a 3-day course about this one manufacturer we work on, so I could get certified at this level, technician and whatever. I've been in these classes before, but it kind of spurred a kind of thought process on just the education process in general. Because I always like to say that I like learning, and I found that to kind of be like not true, because I don't really like learning, because I don't like I don't like not knowing things. So I just want to know them, and learning is just the busy work to get there. Have you ever like read through like a manual or something and tried to skim through it because you're like, okay, yes, and then you end up not getting it at all, and you have to go back and actually read it through and learn the thing? That's like me in school. I don't know. Did you ever?
Yes.
Did you?
But now they're training people to do that kind of stuff. Now, like we're noticing, especially with like kids with ADHD, we're telling them, okay, do a first read, which would be again like skimming like the main points.
Okay.
And then if like you still don't have like a firm grasp on it, and you shouldn't have a firm grasp on it,
right? Yeah.
Then you do what we call a close reading, and that's where you really get into between the main points and figure out, okay, what's the supporting information here now?
Interesting. Okay. That's interesting. I mean, it's there's a few points about just education, the school process in general I'll touch on, but what you're saying there is pretty interesting, because lately the wife and I will if we're reading something together, we'll often read through it, and we've grasped about 20-30% of it, because really we're focused on reading it and deciphering these squiggles that we've decided decode language and communication. And then we have to go in not to just what it says. Okay, now let's go into what it says. Like, what is the meaning behind what it says, and why is it saying it? It's pretty interesting. But yeah, I think I connect with that, the having to reread things a few times.
Well, and they say like in order to retain information, you need a minimum of 18 repetitions.
That's amazing. Wow. Martial arts, they say to master a move, you need to do it successfully 10,000 times. That's 10,000
like times,
the maximum for it. And it's like, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. I know, because I mean, then it becomes like muscle memory, right? And it's like,
yeah. That's to master it. I don't want to master it. I want to get
really, really good at it.
Yeah,
I have to do it 10,000 times, but yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I'm hoping that, like, 500-600 times. Then then I'm good. Then I'm good enough to impress people, and then that's good enough for me.
That's good enough for you. That's good enough for a lot of people.
So you went. I mean, you graduated high school. I was there, and then you went on to college. And so do you enjoy school? Like, do you honestly enjoy school, or were you more fixated on the fact that it was an investment and just trying to get the return?
So I like learning things. Okay. I don't like, and especially like in retrospect, I hated my college experience. I mean, there were cool parts of it that I really enjoyed, but I don't think it was worth $25,000.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You unfortunately you're not alone in that.
And
it was if you don't mind me saying, it was San Bernardino, right, that you went to?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Go Coyotes. Woo.
Woo.
And then I would say like my high school experience, other than a few gems, yourself included.
Oh, stop
I really didn't care for my high school experience either, and a lot
Okay.
of that was due in part of because at our school we had that No Child Left Behind module system for like
Uh-huh.
algebra, which was fucking stupid. It was so fucking stupid. Um, it was
Those of
counterintuitive.
those of you listening 20 years from now, when the education system has been completely privatized and they've erased all history of public schools, who don't know,
Yeah,
No Child Left Behind was a it was a Bush idea, wasn't it? Like,
yeah, yeah,
it was the best intentions, but oh dear.
yeah. Well, it was. I mean, it probably would have worked if it was implemented way better. It just like they were just like, yeah, we'll jump on board and we'll what's the first thing you can think of? Cool, we'll do that. And it's like, that's no, you should have workshopped that a little longer.
Yeah.
But my biggest issue in high school was busy work.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And even now as a teacher, I refuse to give busy work.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, what does that mean? Do you not give your kids work? No, I do, but I focus on the areas of the lesson where they
Yeah.
need the most help. And that's what I assign as work.
Do you think that teachers, the ones that assign busy work, like legitimately, and they want to do it, do you think they're misinterpreting the what we were just talking about the practice makes perfect? If I just assign them to do times tables 100 times tonight, that will drill in that, that because they're doing all this busy work and homework, is that like a kind of practice makes perfect kind of thing? Do you think that was behind it, or what?
It's hard to say. Like, in a perfect world, I would hope that would be the logic behind it.
Yeah.
But it could just be, lazy teachers, and I've been guilty of it.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And I've had teachers that were guilty of it. But I mean, when it comes to stuff like times tables, that's generally kind of important to learn. So yes, but if you're talking to me like the Battle of the Suez Canal, like, is it really that important? Like, no. So I'm not going to assign you a 15-page essay on it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, the the quantity of stuff we learned in high school that did not apply, or the number of topics we should have learned in high school that we didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, we can have a whole other podcast just discussing that, but
Like the stuff I wish they would have taught me how to do in high school.
yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, how many of us came out of high school knowing what a mortgage was, or how to do your taxes, or
How to do taxes, or how to change a tire, or
how
to write a check. I still have problems writing a fucking check.
Have you ever? Can you mail a letter? Do you know where the address goes and how to do it?
Yes, I know all that. I
Okay,
just
yeah.
don't know how many stamps I need.
Yeah, me neither. Okay, me neither. Yeah, I had a teacher in community college at Chaffee in Rancho. I think they were Coyotes too. I don't know. But he was a philosophy teacher
At Chaffee,
at
right?
Chaffee. Yeah,
Panthers.
Panthers. Okay. Yeah, I was a great student. No, I had a philosophy teacher, ironically, who was like this, and he would assign written project or essays. He would assign essays as like major points of the grade. He had a final test, but the majority of the work was class participation in these essays. He was one of the better teachers I ever had there, or professors really. And when he would assign these essays, every grammatical error or MLA format error or any format error in the essay, any error at all, is 1% off of the final grade. And I know you're shaking your head like, no. I was the biggest fan of that because for me, it was like, yes, let's weed out the ones who shouldn't be here, who should have learned all that sooner.
Okay.
Because we're just wasting his time and ourselves times, but we should know all this by now. So
I would say in an English class, that would be the time to grade it like that. Not in a philosophy class. If the assignment is, hey, tell me about Plato's cave theory,
yeah.
that should be what you're grading me on. Not did I misspell there?
Oh, okay.
Did I forget to put a comma here? Like, as a philosophy teacher, that's not your job.
I mean,
That's
yeah,
a job for an English teacher.
I see that point, but at a certain, I do see that point, but I kind of just disagree, because it was kind of like when you watch movies and the camera is out of focus, but the script might be top notch. It's like, yeah, but the camera's out of focus. That's day one stuff. You should know this. And so I kind of write off the whole movie if it's like, if the quality might be no, what am I trying to say? The substance might be there, but if it's undercooked, I don't care. It's I don't know. Anyway, that's a other thing. But the whole it getting back to just education in general, and we're muckrakers. We could just sit around and be like, the real problem is just the education system, and it's all terrible. We should just throw it all out. But rather than just say let's scrub the whole thing, let's kind of like focus in on what it is exactly that I didn't like about education in America in general. For me, the biggest thing, and I remembered this in high school and in college too, to some degree, was the mentality of let's make these kids able to pass this test. Therefore, we can say on paper that they are smart. And therefore
successful.
Yes, and successful. And because that comes from, in my opinion, government standardized anything you lose your soul, you lose your real substance, and it's really, government is just people that couldn't hack it in the private sector, so they go into the government and decide the requirements to be smart. But
yeah, I will say this: the one thing high school taught me, like, I got really good at filling in bubbles.
Yes, multiple choice questions. The Scantron.
Yeah.
They made a big deal about using number 2 pencils on a Scantron. I feel like a pen would have worked.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about number 2 graphite.
But it was so that you could erase it. I'm sure you could erase it well and make it. But I guess I'm willing to bet that's why they say don't use pens, because if you make a mistake, it's the whole thing.
Yeah.
But fuck that. I do crosswords in pen. I don't give a shit. I live life in the fast lane, man.
I too like to live dangerously.
But passing the test, and you see it. As we've been outside of school and in the quote unquote real world and seeing the real work kind of thing, do you see the product of those students coming out being like, how do I pass this test just to get done and go home? Do you see
Yes,
a lot of that? Okay.
Oh yeah. Yep.
There's a,
and you know what it looks like?
This,
it looks like a bunch of people just standing around going like this.
Yeah, looking up at shit. It's the lack of critical thinking. It's the what is the correct answer for this problem? It's frustrating.
That's what I will say. Thank God, my senior year in, like, the first couple of years of college, I had really good professors.
Yeah.
And they taught me how to critically think.
Mm-hmm.
And thank God I wasn't stupid enough to not recognize it. You know what I mean? I was like, I realized, this is valuable information.
Yeah.
I should pay attention to this. And it was something simple. Like my senior English teacher just put like a little blue dot on the board, and then went around and asked each one of us, "What is that?" And everybody was like, "A blue dot, a blue dot." And then one kid was like, "That would be what Earth looks like from Jupiter."
Oh wow!
I was like, okay. What is that? And I was like, "It's a blueberry that I threw."
No way!
It's like, okay. And
oh my God, I love it.
It was that simple of an assignment. I was like, there's more than one way to look at things.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh. What is that blue dot? Yeah. I love those it's seemingly super simple things and turn into something pretty cool.
But it gets you, like, it is super simple until you apply the gray, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that gray matter, man. This course that what kind of spurred this whole thing and rethinking what, because again I've done this course, the class that I took in Philadelphia, I've literally taken before, like the same class 2 or 3 times before. I can't remember. But once
You're
in
just that bad at it?
No. It's a certification thing. So after a couple years, you have to like get recertified. Like you either upgrade or you just get recertified at where you're at. So I've done the class before in California a couple times, and then once in Wisconsin. So I knew the product pretty well. I like going anyway because they always unveil new product and what's new stuff and like all this and that. So I'm always learning stuff, and I subscribe to the fact that you will never know it all. So anyone who acts like they know it all is got serious problems. So I'm always trying to be like, what I've done this one thing a million times. What am I doing wrong? I could have been doing it wrong. I might be wrong. So I need to learn. So, and I love that. So going into these classes, and it kind of takes the pressure off because I know the product. But then there's the other people in the class. There was about 10 other people in this class with me. And there was about 2 or 3 other guys that were, and yes, they were all guys. It's for you PC people out there. There's 2 or 3 other guys that were like also like me that might have taken it before or have been around it long enough that they knew it too. But then there's always like a few guys that just have like are the first time in the class, first time working on these kind of generators, and it's like they're having a hard time grasping it. But what kind of got me remembering school in general is the fact that when we do these classes, we have homework, we sit and they lecture us, and then we go out into the lab and actually work on stuff, and then they send us home with homework, and there's final tests and all that. So it has a lot of the making. So it was like a microcosm of school. The second day, we all come back. We had homework the night before, and guys would, they figured out that me and this other guy that I was with knew what we were talking about. So they turned around, they're like, hey, so for question whatever, what'd you get? I started on the path of, okay, well, yeah, what question is that? Oh, okay, yeah, this one. Okay, yeah, so what I did is I like found this, and I started walking them through how I figured it out. I'll go to the schematic this on page whatever. I went to this page, and I'm following this, and I'm like kind of talking to him, and I'm like saying, so I'm going here, and I'm going here. And he said, so B? I was like, God damn it. All right. You're just wanting the answers now. You're just wanting the answer. You just know, I know. I'm like, well, yeah, okay. That's what I got was B. Oh, cool. And then on the next question, you got B again. I was like, okay, well, oh shit, my wife's calling me. And this is true. I actually literally like faked a phone call, walked outside because I didn't want to be that guy that's just giving answers to homework because it bugs the shit out of me. I'm like ready. I'll teach the guy how to do it, like figure it out and all that. But just giving answers, I don't know why it bugs the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm rambling. I was passionate about this. You should have heard what my wife heard on the other end of that line. It was fun.
God fucking damn it, God, you motherfucker! I was like, come here, do this shit.
We're here to learn, man. It was pissing me off, and it was like I'm trying to show these guys how to figure it out, and they want it, like what you're talking about, like how to figure things out, but they just want the answers. What's the right answer to? Anyway. The other fun thing that this kind of course reminded me of is the instructor prefaced the whole thing with the fact that he has low failure rate. Like the guys that take his class rarely fail. It reminded me of public school and how the the thought has shifted from blaming the kids for failing to blaming the teachers for failing. And since you're a teacher, I'm not sure if you've run into that at all.
Well, no, and I will tell you why. Because my school is essentially a last resort.
Oh, okay.
For kids that are having trouble in public school, they come to us because they can't succeed in regular school. So the parents are well aware of what's going on.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
And so if somebody does have a problem with the teacher, it's probably because the teacher actually did something.
Wow. Okay.
No, that's one thing I love about where I work is our parents, the parents that we interact with, they know full well, they knew the score when they signed on the dotted line, man.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, and I try to be as transparent as I can with my parents and my kids, man. So yeah, it's not an issue at all for me, really. If anything, they're grateful that I'm taking the time to, like, that's another thing. I don't just give my kids work I spend time with my kids. I get to know my kids. I get to, I actively try to help.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Captain, my Captain.
Oh, Captain, my Captain.
Yeah. No, I was not trying to belittle you at all, because like I have a close relative who they would be one of those kids that would be at that school. This relative of mine went through about like almost 10 different schools before they were finally in high school, and it was the same deal because their parents were the parents would take them to these schools with full knowledge of the fact that they're going to be at risk, and or, they say at risk or no, like having trouble, and learning disabled carries such a negative connotation lately, unfortunately, but
I think they use learning differences now.
Difference. I prefer the term neurodivergent.
Neurodivergence. Yeah. Also big word at my school now.
And so when you talk about parents who come to you and be like, that was this relative's parents, they would go to teachers and be like, yeah, okay, we know what can we do? We're here. We've obviously gone through all the steps. We care about this person's education. We want to know. And it also carries with it I remember when the parents were finally like, actually, no, this teacher is actually an asshole. And I was like, okay, well, they've been through enough. Then, I trust their judgment on that one.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so no, my heart goes out for instructors, teachers like yourself and institutions like that, because they actually care. And yeah.
I'm just here to do the work, Mitch. Just here to do the work.
Well, there's like, I believe most teachers are doing their job, and they've been doing it long enough that like that original inspiration might be hanging on by a thread. So I get it. They're doing the job, but there's the exceptions, and this is what makes them exceptional. The teachers that really do care and really put the work in, and it's more than just a paycheck. They actually do go that extra mile every time, which is pretty insane. We've all had teachers like that. I hope, anyway.
I've actually, like, what's cool is, like, I've seen it, like, pay off now. Like, my boss has come to me a couple times in the last, like, month or so and been like, I don't know what it is you're doing, but every kid we have here says you're their favorite teacher.
Awesome.
And I was like, I just give them a 20 and say, hey, make sure you tell them I'm the best teacher here.
Oh, my God. Yeah. I mean, shit. If it does the job, shit. The class I took there. So when it was coming up that I had to take this class, there was a few options. There was one in Philadelphia where I went. There was one down in Florida. There's one in Wisconsin. There was like several places I could go to take this class to get certified. But everyone that I worked with who went to the classes said, hey, this guy who does the class up in Philadelphia, he's top notch. Go to this guy. So it like, and then I went and saw that, like, yeah, he does go the extra mile. He does definitely want us to know how to do the thing right. And so I love those teachers, man. They're fun.
Ever also, since sixth grade, man, that's what I knew I wanted to be, because I had a teacher in sixth grade, man, that was just evil.
Oh, it was a bad story. Like that was the origin story. Yeah. Was a negative experience?
It wasn't a teacher that like I wish I could say, oh, she was so good, she motivated me to be a teacher, but it was the opposite. She was so terrible.
I would have put money on the fact that it was a good teacher that inspired you, but no.
Nope.
Oh my God.
It was a good teacher. It was a couple good teachers that inspired me to get an English degree.
Okay, yeah.
Our friend Shorts being one of them.
Yeah. Love him.
But yeah, my sixth grade teacher was a bitch. Like I tell this story so often, I don't remember who I told it to. So I might have said this before.
No, you're good. You're good. Go.
It was parent teacher conference time. By the way, at my elementary school, I hold the record for most attentions in a single year with 32 because of this bitch.
Whoa.
Yeah. And it was parent teacher conference time. I'm serving detention in the next room over, the next classroom over, and she's having a parent-teacher conference. And like she looked at my parents, and my parents knew that I was a bit of a slacker and a class clown. But when it was time to buckle down, I would buckle down and I would get it done. And they knew I had a problem doing homework. They knew why. They were okay with it. They just if I needed motivation, they just said, "Hey, ask us for help and we'll motivate you." But this teacher looks my parents dead in the eye and says, "I don't like your son."
Whoa.
And my mom, without missing a beat, goes, "The feeling's mutual."
Oh my God, I love it. Oh man. Oh, so wait, how old was this teacher about? Like, can you give me a decade?
Oh, dude, she was probably in her 60s or 70s.
Okay, so up there.
Her name, and she like Bond villain, man.
Oh no.
Sidestepper.
Whoa! Oh my God! It's like sidestepper, and boa constrictor. It's like woof. Yeah, you couldn't make that shit up. Wow.
And going to this school, I started this school when I was in 4th grade. And in 4th grade, we would hear horror stories about her and how bad she was. And so like it's the summer before school starts, and I see like one of the teachers that like I really like, and I want to be in her class, and I'm like, "Yo, am I in your class?" And she's like, "No." And I'm like, "Do you know whose class I could be in?" And she's like, "I think you're in Sidestepper." And I was like, "No."
Oh no. Wow. I'm curious because like this origin story like fascinates me because like all the good movies like they tell the story of like this kid who is inspired and like really like wanted to go, the best actors watched What's Such and Such and had this drama teacher that really inspired them to go off and do this wonderful thing. But I wrote it down, could a negative experience be a better origin story? And I'm thinking of all the superhero movies and all that. All their origin stories are terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, oh my God. Like, I'm applying it to capitalism now. Like,
we were this close from me being Batman, dude. Like, if that bitch killed my parents, I'd be Batman, dude.
Woo! So you need the coupling of what you're describing. You need a negative experience to completely turn you off to something, and then you need the good inspirational folk to kind of guide you to what it could be, kind of thing. And like my mind immediately went to capitalism when it comes to a job. What job do you want to do? There's the one side of it, it's like, this job looks cool, I want to do that. But then there's the other side of it, this industry is terrible, how can I fix that? And I'm going to go into this to try to fix something. And that's kind of like the driving force behind most capitalism and like could be the stronger factor to an origin story. That's hilarious.
You've inspired me, Mitch. I'm going to write this. This is going to be a memoir, I think.
People should not follow their dreams, as I've said several times. Don't follow your dreams. Go out and fix your nightmares. This is amazing. We've stumbled upon something huge here, I think.
Yeah. We just had what therapists call a breakthrough.
A breakthrough, for sure, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, is a negative motivation stronger than a positive one? There's places for both, positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement. You need to have both, but the negative reinforcement is usually a lot stronger.
I mean, it's like when people like, if you're trying to motivate somebody, you say, "Hey, light a fire under their ass."
Right,
That's a negative reinforcement.
Yeah.
Nobody says, "Hey, go tell him he's the best." Like, no.
Yeah.
They don't say that. No. And I think it's because I think negative motivation. And this sounds terrible saying it out loud.
It really does, but we're not talking about we don't have to like it. I mean, we're not advocating it. We're not saying you should do it because it's just a sad fact of just the human condition. You could blame society, but I believe society is just a group of humans. So you can just blame humans that It's easy. It's better. I think there's more drive to escape pain than there is to pursue pleasure.
For sure.
And I think that's what it boils down to is what force is stronger, the escape of pain or the pursuit of pleasure.
Yeah. And like so many things nowadays, it's a spectrum, right?
Yeah.
And I think that has to do with the kind of the same thing. It's like if you're not sick, then you're okay, and it's like that's not necessarily true.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's much more motivating to avoid pain than it is to seek pleasure.
Absolutely.
It's much better to be just kind of meh than I'm on fire or oh my god that feels so good, right?
Yeah. Like, well, okay, the exercise being a great example of that. It's through every case study ever that if you exercise, you will feel better at the end of it. But there's this immediate pain you have to go through first, and because that escape of the initial pain is so much stronger than the pursuit of feeling better for most people, not all, but for most people, that's exactly why there's this health problem. Everyone's no one runs. Cardio, it's rule number one. But
right. So again, we have to use the negative reinforcement. Everybody gets a lion to chase them.
Or what in the real world where what mostly happens is the doctor says, look, if you don't get your fat ass on the treadmill, you're gonna die. Or worse, we're gonna
die.
Or we're gonna cut your foot off and you'll die slow. It's like, oh shit, okay, I better get my ass on the treadmill. So yeah. Man, wow. It seems so simple, like no duh, but it's kind of crazy when you really put it out there.
Yeah.
Because I've never really applied it to life pursuits either. Like the fact that you want to fix problems should be a major driving force in what you want to do with your life.
Mm-hmm. But I think everybody kind of looks at it and it's like, well, I'm just one guy,
Sure.
What can I do? How can I change, the police? How can I change the film industry?
Well, it doesn't.
The shitty answer is like you can't, but you can do stuff to motivate other people to want to.
Oh yeah. Well, it doesn't even have to be that big either. For you, it was like, okay, my experience with education was shit, and that's like the first real example in 6th grade. That's a formidable time. We're like going into junior high. It's like we're actually starting to learn about who we are as people.
I think a lot of it too was like, well, if she can be a teacher, I definitely can be a teacher.
Yeah, right. It doesn't seem that hard.
Yeah, no,
but
it is.
But here you are, like you're starting to ask these major questions about who you are as a person, and so you could argue that age is when you first experience real connection with the people that are teaching you things. It's not so much don't do this, don't do that. It's why do I do this and why do I do that? And to have a major figure be that negative, it's like, oh, I'm going to fix this. And it doesn't have to be, what I was going to say earlier, it doesn't have to be as big as the whole system. It could be just the system around you. The education I grew up with, the education in my world was shit. I'm going to pursue something to make the education better in my world. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I think people who grow up with traumatic parents or traumatic home life can be like, I need to fix this. And by fixing this is I create a positive home life. It's not all parents everywhere, but it's the home they live in. So,
yeah.
But, yeah. Education, negative reinforcement. Hey, if you don't learn how to critically think, I'm going to funk your ass and you have to retake it. I'm sorry, but... Or worse, I'll just pass you and throw you out into the world and be like, go, just do it.
Yeah, go. But then you run into that problem. Is that morally irresponsible to do that?
Any institute that is collecting tax dollars gives a shit about the moral questions. It's cold. We wish it wasn't that way, but it by design is that way. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that's our show, everyone. Thanks for listening. No, I'm still shooting for the shorter episodes, and I think that's a good.
That was
point
solid,
right there.
dude. Like we touched on some stuff.
The horse is freshly dead. We're not quite beating it yet, but I think we hit the main points there.
Yeah.
Well, anyone, fuck, shit. Okay, go back, delete that, go back. Well, everyone. Well, and it was a mix of well anyway and well everyone. Well, anyone. Mm-hmm. Shit. No. Well, thanks everyone for listening to this episode. Danny, any final thoughts?
Here's my final thoughts. Kids, sometimes in life, you're going to have teachers that don't like you. And when that happens, you say, no, I'm not going to say that. Don't let it get you down. Because there's always going to be people in this world that don't like you.
Mm-hmm.
Try to be better, at least, than those people.
I agree. I would build on it, too. I would say, you know what? You should consider yourself lucky if a major instructor of your life doesn't like you. Because,
like, somebody said something like, if there's somebody out there that doesn't like you, then you're probably doing something right.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Because the world does not like you. Like your tribe likes you. That's the point of a tribe. Is your tribe likes you. And but the world does not. And you know what? The sooner you experience that, the sooner you build those calluses and you're good. All right. My final thoughts. I don't know, man. School and the homework, busy work, man. All right. Well, thanks for.
What just happened?
I passed the.
Did you just have a stroke?
I've been doing so this whole time, but no. I passed the course. I did learn some stuff, and it kind of re-energized my love of learning and being in a place that's challenging and teaching me new ways to think. I guess that's what I really love that. So, hey, final thought. Here it is. Here's my final thought. You'll never know it all, so never think you know it all. For goodness sake, you know nothing. There you go.
All right, there you go.
Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time. Recording stopped. Stop recording. There we go.